Hello, my name is Anastasiia Babii, and I would also like to present my bachelor's diploma, which is an animated short film titled Contrast from Sparrow. It also deals with the issue of Ukrainian cultural identity, and I would like to thank my supervisors who helped me work on this project. And so first, I want to give some theoretical background for this work. So this that you see on the screen is the title of my thesis paper. And basically, I wanted to look into some select animated films and see the methods and strategies which they used to represent their cultural identity or their history in these animations, in their plot, in the characters, and so on. And these are the films that I analyzed in my paper. So I picked American and Japanese animation because it's a very big animation market. It's quite well known and famous. And my idea was to learn from these films and from these productions and apply their methods and strategies to represent some cultures that are not so well known in this medium, not so represented, basically, to make this task simpler for people who want to show their culture. And these are the strategies that I found through my research. So the historical reference is just the usage of history somehow in the animation. Characterization means applying some ideal cultural traits to positive characters or protagonists. And contrast is basically using two characters where one has these ideal traits and another one doesn't. So to give an example, in the case of American identity, that would be putting a character that's very conservative and conventional with a character that values some personal freedom and freedom of expression. So this basically paints this ideal of freedom, American ideal of freedom, in a positive light and kind of promotes it. Then there was religion and folklore, which is using some narratives of religious or folk origins, also in the plot or the characters. And lastly, the soundtrack means using some melodic motifs or just promoting some cultural ideas through the lyrics of the score of the film. And since my film was quite short, I picked just one strategy, and this strategy was historical reference. I picked it because it's used in every film that I analyzed, so it's quite effective and popular. And also, I thought that it would be recognizable to global audiences, since they can tell which countries have which history. So that was the strategy that I picked for my film. And the foundation of my film was the current events of Ukrainian history, so the war that is happening right now, and also a poem titled Contrast from Sparrow, written by a Ukrainian poet, Lesya Ukrainka. So this is a quite famous poet, and this work is, in Ukraine, probably her most famous work. And I picked this poem because the idea of it is to promote hopefulness and some kind of resolution in the face of hardships. So I thought it fits well with Ukrainian national character and also is relevant to the war happening right now. And I implemented this poem into my short film through the plot. So I just used the text of the poem to kind of inspire each scene in the animation. Here you can see the storyboard that I made. And also, I wanted to somehow show this idea of hopefulness. So I made this character that was kind of light-like to show this optimist message. And also, I used additional symbols and scenes to kind of show the lines of the poem that are not so figurative, because most of the poem uses landscape and nature as like metaphors, but some stanzas don't do that. So I had to add some more objects and elements to show the idea that the poet had when she was writing these lines. Also, I had a challenge to implement this poem so that it would be understandable to non-Ukrainian audiences. And my first instinct was to use the English translation of the poem, but it proved to be quite ineffective because then the poem lost its recognizability factor because it's not so well known outside of Ukraine, but if it's in English, it's not very recognizable. And at the end, I used the Ukrainian voiceover and the English subtitles. And in this way, it kind of added another strategy of language usage that I didn't really note in my research and just found through the work on this project, because by using Ukrainian language, it tells the global audiences that this is a Ukrainian poem, and the Ukrainian audiences already know this poem is quite famous, so I used it in that way. And also, since the plot of this animation was dedicated to representing the poem, I had to use another method to show the history. So here you can see the variations of style frames I made for the animation, and I stopped on this one that is the big one. And I created several collages using news headlines about the war, and I just composed them into these landscapes and scenes that were mentioned in the poem, using these simple shapes. And now I would like to show the film.
Гетьте, думи, ви хмари осінні, тож тепера весна золота, чи то так у жалю, в голосінні проминуть молодії літа. Ні, я хочу крізь сльози сміятись, серед лиха співати пісні, без надії таки сподіватись, жити хочу, геть думи сумні. Я на вбогім сумнім перелозі буду сіять барвисті квітки, буду сіять квітки на морозі, буду лить на них сльози гіркі, і від сліз тих гарячих розтане та кора лядовая міцна. Може, квіти зійдуть, і настане ще й для мене весела весна. Я на гору круту крем'яною буду камінь важкий підіймать, і, несучи вагу ту страшную, буду пісню веселу співать. В довгу, темную нічку невидну не столю ні на хвильку очей, все шукатиму зірку провідну, ясну владарку темних ночей. Так, я буду крізь сльози сміятись, серед лиха співати пісні, без надії таки сподіватись, буду жити, геть думи сумні.